Well, I gotta say, today felt bittersweet. Today, in this context, actually being the 6th, I did watch the first of the last run of Steven Universe episodes on the day that it released, for once. And this is a bittersweetness that I expect to last right up until the end of that last, 4-part episode is coming up on us, at which point I expect it to graduate to just bitter. The show's almost over and there's nothing we can freaking do about it, man. Oh, I'm so bummed out about it. But at the same time, I'm excited. I haven't been with Steven Universe since the very beginning. I've been around for most of it. And it's been such a big part of my life for such a long time now. I genuinely credit this show with shaping me into a better person. It's going to be a shame to see it gone. Though, I want to remind you guys, just like Rebecca Sugar insists that it's not going to be over when it's over, there's going to be more to these characters. I'm not going to be done with Steven Universe either. I have a lot of stuff planned. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Maybe I'm trying to grasp at straws. Trying to keep the hype train going for as long as possible, as the kids say. But if that's the case, if I enjoy it and you enjoy watching me enjoy it, does it really matter? Right? I do want to ask you guys, though, once the whole series is over, do you want a retrospective review of the whole thing? Or have these individual episode-by-episode reviews been enough? Because I'm thinking I might want to talk about the whole thing in retrospect. I think that might be kind of interesting for me. And for you guys. Because I don't know when the last time was that I spelled out my opinion on the entire show for you guys. And technically I never have, because the show hasn't been an entire show. I mean, it technically still isn't. It won't be until the end of the month, but you get what I'm saying, right? That said, I'm going to be filming both of the reviews for both of these 2 new episodes at the same time. They're going to be going up literally back to back. I'm going to put enough space in between them for people to watch the first review before the second one goes up. But they might as well just be one review. So I'm going to kind of flow from the first into the second, if that makes sense. The first of the episodes was In Dreams, in which Steven and Peridot get together to watch the first episode of the reboot of Camp Pining Hearts, their favorite show from back when they were still new friends, and finding it very disappointing because the characters are all different now, and the crew obviously used this as an opportunity to poke fun, let's say, at some of the people who've been, I won't even say criticizing, complaining about the fact that Steven Universe Future feels different than Steven Universe, which I don't understand exactly how they did that, because I thought these episodes were done before Steven Universe Future started airing, so maybe it was complaints they anticipated, or ones that they were getting from people at like Cartoon Network or something. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. It was pretty funny. It wasn't mean-spirited at all, so I enjoyed it quite a bit. Though that said, this Camp Pining Hearts reboot feels more like a Riverdale compared to an Archie than an SU Future compared to Steven Universe, if that makes sense. Meanwhile, though, Steven has been having terrible dreams about him being left out while the others move on with their lives and have a good time, and all that crazy stuff with like the floating house and the opening deck and stuff from the trailer was from this dream sequence, which was very boring. It would have been much more interesting if that stuff had been happening in, well, not real life, but in the real life of the show. But it worked here, too, in context. Some of Steven's insecurities are starting to take a real concrete shape. Like, this episode basically spells it out, that because he doesn't feel like there's a concrete, definitive need for him anymore, that he's not solving people's problems anymore, that people don't need him anymore, and because he feels that way, he feels like people are going to leave him behind because they're not going to want him around anymore. And when they discover that Steven's dreams can project themselves onto a TV via, I would assume, some variant of whatever power he used to disrupt the tape back in that episode with the little butler tapes. The name of the episode escapes me at the moment. I'll probably remember it after I'm done recording. Which was cool. It was nice to tie back into that, and at least in an offhanded kind of way address it again and confirm that Steven does have that kind of power to whatever degree. But anyway, when he discovers this, Peridot has the idea to have him induce dreams about how they would fix the reboot of Camp Binding Hearts. Project them onto the TV as he sleeps, and then she can record them and they can make their own, effectively a self-insert Camp Binding Hearts fan fiction where Steven inserts himself into the story and fixes everything. And of course he's up for that, because not only is he helping Peridot to fix something that's bothering her, but he's literally fixing the story of this other world. It's exactly the kind of stuff he used to do, the kind of stuff he's been seeking out a reason and an excuse to do again, because without that, as I mentioned before, he feels like he's going to lose the people around him. When he keeps failing, though, he then dreams that Peridot is going to leave him now because he doesn't have anything more to offer her either. And she sees it on the TV and wakes him up and reassures him that they're never not going to be friends and they don't need an excuse to spend time together. And I'm tearing up just thinking about it, because I've mentioned this in previous Steven Universe Future content, but I feel a lot of what Steven's feeling here. I felt it before anyway. And even though nothing exactly like this has ever happened, where I've had a friend literally wake me up out of a nightmare to reassure me that they're never going to go away, seeing Peridot put aside everything else that she was trying to accomplish at the time, which is a feat for Peridot sometimes, to take the time to make it clear to Steven that she doesn't like him because she needs something from him. She likes him because she needs him. That was very cathartic to me. I loved it a lot. And they continue to watch the show together, even though they hate it, because that's their thing. And they enjoy it, but they're enjoying it for each other's company rather than for the show. It was a fantastic ending to a fantastic episode. And I'm having trouble deciding what to say about it otherwise, because I can't think of another episode of this show that speaks for itself so well. Like, if you watch this episode and you can't see for yourself why it's so fantastic, then you're a heartless monster. Or I guess maybe it's possible that you've just never really gone through anything similar to this and therefore can't really relate to it. Like, I legit can't think of a scenario where someone wouldn't get enjoyment out of this episode unless they just straight up can't relate to this situation at all. I gotta say, though, I absolutely adored that it was Peridot that he had this breakthrough with, because this was a breakthrough. Let's not kid ourselves here. This was a breakthrough for Steven. But I adore that it was Peridot that he had this breakthrough with, because at least as far as we know, as far as we can tell, Steven was Peridot's first friend. The first person who cared about her for her, and not for what she could do for them. Like, yes, they were trying to stop the cluster together, etc., etc. Steven even mentions all the stuff that they've accomplished together in this episode. But throughout all of that, Steven showed consistently, over and over again, that he liked Peridot for Peridot. And she was able to return the favor by reminding him that she likes Steven for Steven. Also, she took off her visor for the first time ever, and she has very pretty green eyes, which was a nice detail. Thank you, Crooniverse. Thank you, Crooniverse, for this entire episode. After all the shit that Steven's been going through in recent episodes, it was nice to see him finally get a little better. And that trend, it does thankfully carry into the next episode, which I might have more to say about. I don't know. Let's find out as we move into that review. In the meantime, though, what did you guys think of the episode In Dreams? If you have seen it, let's get a discussion going in the comment section down below or over in my Discord, link in the description. But either way, this has been AJ22, and I will talk to you guys later.